Welcome to another racing weekend preview with our horse racing expert Paul Ulster, and it's the Ebor Festival at York that's caught the eye this week, and we're looking at two huge races with the Ebor Handicap and the City of York Stakes. First up, the Ebor Handicap, a full field of 20 runners going for the £500,000 prize, and Willie Mullins' charge Stratum has sneaked into the field and will be coming in the early favourite. In the draw that took place on Thursday, he's been given what looks like a tough draw in stall 4, and the live draw was certainly a first for me, Paul. So is stall 4 going to be an issue for Stratum, and how much does the draw come into it in a race like this?
Well, the race is 1 3/4 miles, so you'd think they'd have time to find a space for themselves in that period. But obviously, in a very, very tight handicap, if you have to run the extra 10 yards in order to get into position, at the end of the day, when you hit the finishing line, that can make a big difference. So there is that to take into consideration. I think Stratum's going to run very well. You know, he's clearly in terrific form, but he's a horse who stays very, very well indeed, up to 2.5 miles. And I just wonder if over this 1 3/4 miles with that draw on the fast ground and with some speedier horses who were quick at around 1.5 miles, whether he might just be vulnerable. But it wouldn't surprise to see him win. But we're at betting.net and we're always looking for value. And so the value, I think, this year is with a horse called Crowned Eagle, who's trained by ex-Italian trainer Marco Botti and ridden by Daniel Muscat. Now, he's a horse who's been running really well at 1.5 miles, Steve. He went very close in what is a really hot handicap called the Old Newton Cup at Haydock in July. That was over 12 furlongs and he was finishing strongly. Now, he's been moving up the weights this season. He went very close at York over 1.5 miles earlier in the term. And I just think this extra 2 furlongs could just be the ticket for him. And so at 14 to 1, I think each way, 4 places at least. There'll be some bookies paying 5 if you shop around. I think Crowned Eagle is worth an interest. I think he'll go well for a very shrewd trainer who hasn't had the best of seasons, and this could just spark his season into life. This is the first ever £500,000 Ebor, by the way. They put a huge amount of prize money in this year.
Excellent. So hopefully we'll get some money for the guys for that one. And that's great, always looking for value at betting.net, and that's Crowned Eagle at 14 to 1 each way for Paul in the Ebor Handicap. So next up then, we're looking at the City of York Stakes, a Group 3 race, and certainly a less daunting task to pick the front runners here. 12 months ago, Talayeb came out on top in a field of 17, but this year we only have 9 going to post. So Paul, smaller field, it's easier, right?
If you say so, yes, I'll go. I'll go with that. This actually is a very, very good renewal. I think one of the reasons there's a smaller field actually here, Steve, is the presence of a horse called Expert Eye. Now, Expert Eye absolutely bolted up by over 4 lengths in the Jersey Stakes at Royal Ascot, and he was runner-up in the Sussex Stakes at Glorious Goodwood last time out. And if he is on his game, he might prove hard to beat. And I think a lot of horses were scared of him. But one horse who isn't scared, he's no scaredy cat. This is Soudois. He's trained by David O'Mara and he's the mount of Danny Tudhope. And this horse is absolutely rock solid. He just keeps coming back time after time and running tremendous races in top company. And while there might be 1 or 2 quirks about Expert Eye, there certainly aren't for Soudois, who's an older horse, and yet he only has to give £2 to Expert Eye. Now that could make a difference because Expert Eye is penalised for his Ascot win. And Soudois went really close. He was very narrowly beaten, really by a hair's breadth at Glorious Goodwood in the Group 2 Lennox Stakes by Sir Dancelot, who won another big race last week. So I think the form is rock solid. I think he's going to give David O'Mara a really good day. And he's a 3 to 1 chance. So 3 to 1 Soudois. By the way, I mentioned David O'Mara. He's got a runner earlier in the day in the Strensall Stakes called Lord Glitters, who if ever a horse deserved to win a race, it's him. And he's going to be a 15 to 8 shot in the Strensall. So it could be a good day for David O'Mara at York on Saturday.
All right, we're looking for a good day for David O'Mara and, of course, for our followers. So that's Soudois for Paul in the City of York Stakes. So there you have it, another cracking weekend of racing in store. Thanks to Paul. And then And thank you, and check out betting.net for more tips and analysis, and good luck with your bets, and we'll see you next week.